You're at a job interview. You get the "what is your biggest weakness?" question. What is your answer? I'm terrible at interviews, got me my job. You're a genius. Wait, actually though, this is quite big brain. My answer to that question at the local ice cream parlor was my biggest weakness is chocolate. I got the job. And a free scoop of chocolate ice cream every day I worked there. Edit, thanks for the award. My old roommate tried that for a desk job once. She said the interviewer gave her a blank stare, quietly wrote something down, then continued with the interview. She didn't get the job. It's a bad interview question, but if the person interviewing you asks you something, you should at least try to answer it. Dodging it isn't a good look. Maybe use it as a joke to transition into your answer, like, what's your biggest weakness? Chocolate. Haha, no, but seriously, probably the drinking. What's your biggest weakness? I tend to stress fart. Oh. I hadn't noticed. That's 'cause I'm assing this interview. Do you have a problem with alcohol? Hell no, I can drink 15 beers without barfing. My usual go-to is that I have had difficulty with taking criticisms personally, especially against me when in a leadership role. I then follow up with talking about how I'm working on it and feel I've improved as I've taken on roles with more responsibility. It is an annoying question, but if you can find something to talk about honestly, and also explain how you are working to improve it, you're golden. I have difficulty taking criticisms personally. Sounds like something you might want to work on. You know what? Fu you. Criticisms. Initially, I misread that as circumcisions. Now the comment makes more sense. Terrified at public speaking is usually the one I go with. It's fairly relatable but easy to brush off by saying I get past it through practice. It also has the benefit of being true. While I agree, I lost a job for answering exactly this. I was applying for a sales position and was given the okay by Manager A while I was going through the final steps of paperwork, etc. Manager A changed positions, so now I had to interview with a new manager, B. Manager B asked me this goddamned question and I mentioned public speaking as a weakness that I was working on. Dude was like, oh shit, that's not good, and I didn't get the job. Though I guess it wasn't a good look for a sales position, so I blame myself for not preparing a better answer. God, I hate this effing question. My most recent interview I had did actually include that question. I told them I tend to have a problem with hyper-focusing on things sometimes to the point of missing out on the big picture, or taking a bit long on calls. I told them I've been working on that with the help of physical reminders, alarms, etc., and they seemed to appreciate it. My now current boss also liked when I answered the question, what if someone asks you a question you don't know the answer to? With I say, boy, that's a great question. I don't know offhand, but I will find the answer for you. And then Google my little heart out. Apparently she loved that I admitted I don't know everything, but that I know how to find answers and am willing to learn. This might only be applicable to someone newly out of college or applying for entry-level jobs, but I had a professor tell me to say lack of experience. If you're applying for an intro-level job, it's expected. It's a weakness that's not really your fault, and you can spin it as a reason you should get the job. The obvious ones are those. I'm a perfectionist, I suppose. It's one of my biggest weaknesses. But they are so cheesy and BS. The best is just being honest. My biggest weakness? I'm a fat mofo, and if anyone leaves food on my desk, it's getting eaten, no questions asked. Edit. I realize perfectionism is an actual weakness, but many fresh off the boat graduates think it's a really good line in a job interview and have sadly ruined this for actual perfectionists. This is my point. I usually approach it honestly. I'm super hard on myself to the point that it can be counterproductive. So I typically don't need a lot of coaching when I FK up, but I need to be reminded to move on. You up. I work with a company who loved that about me. Then 3 years into training they decided to switch gears into quantity over quality, and it's really fooed me up. Yeah, that's the answer all the candidates go for. It has gotten so annoying that I avoid the question and now ask, what was your biggest professional challenge, meaning fu up, and how did you solve it? Getting far better. Honest answers now. I phrase this as I take a lot of my self-worth from my job. Because of this I am very motivated at my job, but I can tend to struggle a bit to move on when I've screwed up. The best way I have found to handle this is working with good teams who support each other rather than divisive groups with combative communication styles. It's cost me some positions sometimes, but if she works poorly with combative people is a deal breaker. I definitely don't want to be there. Interviewer: what is your biggest weakness? Me: I have no weakness. No vulnerability. I am the all. No man can best me. No woman can resist me. My power is absolute. I am what the night fears and the sun flees each day. To look upon me is to know your inevitable demise. At the end of time I will cry tears of burning oil and open my 1,000 mouths and herald the end of all that is. When nothing is left I will lord over the darkness and ash of all that was and all that will be. That you would imply that I am not everything that encompasses the reality you can see and the realities behind the veils of your sanity tells me that you will be the first to be consumed in the blood and shadows that hide behind this world. Look upon my true form and know death. But if I had to pick I'd say that I have some difficulty with adding pictures to a Word document. Interviewer: now just the soul bound to the blasted and charred skeleton and existing on the line between life and death, and an eternal agony. I think that's all the questions I have. We'll let you know when we've made a decision. Me: wonderful, I'll look forward to hearing from you. Sometimes when I'm in a situation that's sort of inauthentic and artificial, I just lean into it a little. I'm not a jerk about it, but I'll do or say something that just highlights the absurdity before I get back on task. What would you say is your biggest weakness? Oh wow. Probably no win situations. Especially in high-pressure circumstances where I'm faced with being asked to perform a task that directly undermines my main objective. The better I complete that individual task. I'd think that, overall, those in charge of directing me in the situation would also want to achieve the overall objective too, so I'm left torn between wanting to perform both the immediate and overall tasks to my best ability, yet the former makes the latter more difficult. In the end, unfortunately, I usually tend to settle for a lukewarm middle ground that involves teasing out a creative interpretation of the counterproductive task and addressing it in a way that shows dedication and good faith effort while at the same time sidesteps most of the more problematic implications of its completion. My biggest weakness is performing X skill that is not involved in this job. I realized that my strengths lie elsewhere, which is why I have applied for jobs in this industry that utilize my strengths instead of weaknesses. For me, I say I have performed poorly in jobs that require physical labor, and so I've specifically chosen to strengthen my resume in areas outside of physical labor. You could do that with anything. I'm not good at dealing at sales when I don't believe in the product. So, I'm applying here because I do believe in this product, etc. Frame your weakness as something that doesn't matter to this job. I did that. Applied for a quality control job that was 10% testing the products and 90% administration. I was there for 1 week and had not sat at my desk for more than half an hour. The rest I was hauling boxes, opening them, plugging in machines, pressing some buttons, repackaging them, lugging them back, rinse, repeat. My back was killing me. Friday afternoon, I had finished all my work that needed to be done by Tuesday. I work quite fast generally speaking, and told my supervisor I was going to sit down and do some administrative tasks because I would like to be able to walk the day after. They let me go that afternoon because we think you're overqualified and also, we don't want to risk you getting back problems on our dime. Check out our other videos and subscribe and leave your suggestions and experiences in the comments below. Have a great day.